I bought this leather office chair on eBay recently, and it needs a little bit of work. The leather needs sort of a pretty good bit of restoration on it. It's quite cracked down here. You can see it's got lots of cracking in it, and it sort of looks like it's just dried out. And there's an area up here where I think maybe a cat has been at it or something like that. You can see it's all furred up. I just had a little go at this with some meths, because I'm going to need to remove, from what I've seen looking at videos, I'm going to have to remove all of this surface, because I've ordered this stuff which is to recolour it and reseal it, but it will only work where the old sealer's been removed, so I've got to go over the whole thing and get that off. And apparently you can wash it off with alcohol, these sealers, but I don't have any, so I've got some meths. That will do. So I'm going to have a go at that. I've done a tiny bit there. You can see the difference in colour, and it's a little bit sticky, so that's it's definitely dissolving the sealer. And it was all scuffed up here, but it looks a lot better now, so I'll see how it goes with that bit. So I've got some methylated spirits, poured it onto an old sock, so it's not abrasive at all. Let's see what happens. I'm just working my way around the top of the back here. That section I've done with just the meths. Clearly there's still a surface on it, but I am taking off the darker colour on the surface here with the meths, which may just be dirt, I don't know. So I don't know if the actual sealer on here is going to be taken off by the meths. Taken off enough anyway, but maybe that doesn't matter. When I'll do a little test when I get the new stuff that's going to go over the top, the dye, and see if it will take over the top of this surface. If it doesn't, then it will need to be properly stripped back a bit more. Yeah, I think it is softening up, this sealer, because it's sticky under the fingers. I've been washing back the leather using methylated spirits and a rag, and this is the bit at the back here that I've done, and there's a very dark colour over the top of it. So I think it looks a lot better in the lighter green colour than it did in the dark green colour. So I'm going to continue with that. So there's a few areas on the leather on the chair where a cat had been at it previously, I suspect, and it is quite torn up here, quite rough. So I had a little go at trying to shave it off with a chisel, and that wasn't really all that successful. But then I had to go just some sandpaper, 80 grit sandpaper like that, and that seems to be working better, smoothing it off nicely. So I'm going to continue with that. after sanding the surface down, it's a lot better than it was. It's probably not perfect, but I've got this leather filler which I bought on eBay, wakeson.co.uk it came from, dark green, and this is supposed to go on and go hard, oops, on the surface. Now that's not meant to happen, I don't think, when you open it. That's going to get messy very quickly. So you just spread that on apparently and let it go off. Probably a good idea to go in multiple directions when you're spreading it to get it all into any little holes and crevices there. And I believe it goes hard and you then sand it down. It says in the instructions you can accelerate the curing time with a hairdryer, so I might try that. See, this area is really quite bad. It's quite scuffed up pretty bad, so I shall sand this down, see how much it improves. So I went over this yesterday with some of the dye. It's a sealer and dye all in one, made by Leather Colour Doctor. It's this stuff. It's a dark green colour, but with a brush it leaves some lines here and there, so I thought I'd do it with a French polisher's rubber. And to make one of those, I've just got some of this. You should really use surgical wadding, but I don't have any surgical wadding handy, so this is polishing stocking, I think, that's used in sort of automotive industry. Just make that into a ball shape, leaving a bit sticking out. Take a piece of cotton, just a pillowcase, cut down, put that over the top, and ball it up into a shape in the centre with a piece sticking out like so. Bend that over the finger, bend it back on itself to make a pointed shape at the end there. Makes a sort of a heel with a point on it. And then another fold on that side there. Push it all up inside, twist it at the back, and it will make a shape. It doesn't hold its shape until you've got a fair bit of polish in it, but that's the kind of shape that you're after, so that when you're polishing you've got a point to get into corners with. To charge it, to put the dye in, you just hold it and peel off the cotton off the surface, pour the dye into here, and then fold it back over again. Right, now I wouldn't normally wear gloves for French polishing, but this is a dye which I don't really want all over my hands. I'm not sure that this will work by charging it the traditional way. Well, it looks like it's not going to soak into there very well. It's got quite a lot of suspended particulate in it, I think, so maybe I'll have to charge it onto the outside of the fad, and the outside of the rubber. Let's see. Oh no, it's coming out. So I think the chair is pretty much finished now. I've given it one coat with a brush with it's this leather dye and sealer all in one. One coat with a brush and 2 coats with a sort of French polishing rubber. And that was, I think, better. It gave me a better finish. But in the areas where I think some cat had been at it previously, like down here, this was all torn up, have come up really quite well. Look at that. The filler that I used initially underneath is a slightly different colour, and you can just see that, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. And it was all chewed up here as well. I've left some of the damage there, so it makes it look a sort of aged look, really, because it's not a new chair. It is sort of conserved rather than restored, I suppose, but the colours come out quite nice. Look, I put a new base on. The old base, it's got wooden legs, and they have broken, so I need to restore those at some point. I'll get round to that in the future. But the main reason I've changed it is because the spring on the old base is quite strong, and I sort of prefer it that it tilts very easily. It's more like a rocking chair. So with these newer bases, you can adjust them more easily. So all in all, I think that's come out quite well.